Hello and welcome to episode 86 of Dorki's Entropia Universe report. Today's episode covers the week from 11th to 18th of January 2021. And there is some supreme irony coming up later in the video. Although I guess you already know what I am talking about if you read the title of today's episode. Last week I talked about what a bad idea it is to chase HoFs. And while I was not exactly playing the game in that dangerous way, I did do some clicks on Explore Recycle 2 blueprint. Result was the first candidate for my best HoFs of 2021 video that I will be making in January 2022. Of course, it is nothing special in terms of what you can expect out of a blueprint that costs 100 PED per click. 1000 PED is only a 10 times the click cost multiplier, which is something that usually happens quite often while clicking any blueprint, mining or hunting any mobs out there. However, it is still a nice HoF size in PED and very likely to end up being one of my biggest swirls of 2021 because of the way I usually play these days. I do plan to do a lot of mining later in the year and maybe some hunts on bigger mobs on Arcadia once the planet gets codex. There are some missions on bigger mobs that I want to finish during that 1 year period after the introduction of codex and before the old missions get yeeted out of the game. But that being said, I do plan to spend vast majority of the year playing it both smart and cheap. So I do not think that I will be getting all that many HoFs this year. By the way, I did craft about 2.4k PEDs worth of level 2 light mining amplifiers for my own use this week. You have been watching part of that crafting run thus far. It was a rather weird one, since I had unusually high success rate of a bit over 50% on my 100 clicks, but I still lost about 90 PED in TT value and almost 200 PED after I factored in the markup I paid on the materials. Although I did make a nice profit on those recycle clicks that I will show you later in the video. So this small loss from my amp craft is not an issue. And I am sure I will make it back by the time I am done mining through them all. Aside from the crafting and some mining, I also did do a bit of hunting this week. First I hunted screecher birds on the next island for the daily mission there. That one was a loss, even after I counted in the 15.2 PED of oil that I got as a reward from the mission. I will show you some footage from that particular hunt and give you my more in-depth thoughts on that daily mission in next week's episode. Sadly, I do not have much time today due to real life stuff going on at the moment, which is also why today's episode is a shorter one. Anyway, the short preview version of what I will say next week is that please do not rush to next island just because of those daily missions. Loot on those mobs is usually atrocious, and those nice rewards do not make up for that most of the time. I had to mention at least that today, so that people with low budgets won't rush to next island with the vision of easy profit out of the daily missions. But of course, the planet is a nice place to visit and explore. Anyway, I came barely 68 skill points shy of reaching the 362k total skills this week, and will likely get there before next week's episode. Also, I hunted some Neomaxes on Calypso later in the week. Those surprisingly gave me a small profit. And that is a somewhat short version of my avatar activities and progress for the week. I had to cut it a bit short because I do not have much time to work on today's episode, and I do want to publish it today as the time constraints are not severe enough to prevent me from making at least a shorter video. Either way, let's go over the deed and share payouts and prices for the week. I will start with the shares this week. Crystal Palace shares paid out only 1 PEG today. I sold most of my CP shares while they were still selling at around 20 PED, so their poor performance of late does not affect me much. But it is still sad to see those 1 PEG payouts when they used to pay so well. Maybe it wasn't all caused by the Mayhem events. Maybe the fact that before the old missions got yeeted, people were hunting creatines and hourlies more in order to finish these missions, and that helped the CP share dividends be better in the past. That is of course just a thought that came to my mind, and I do not know if it is really the case. Either way, though, the cheapest stack of Crystal Palace shares available for purchase this morning was priced at 18 PED and 27 PEG. Meanwhile, Ancient Greece shares also paid 1 PEG per share today. It is nice to see them pay out again after they skipped payment last week. Also, the cheapest stack of Ancient Greece shares available for purchase this morning was priced at 8 PED and 80 PEG, and interestingly enough, it got sold before I checked again. However, a new stack at the same price popped up again about an hour later. So I guess someone might be selling off a larger stash of deeds, or rather shares, at that price, restocking the Entropia exchange with smaller few hundred share stacks. Or perhaps it is just a coincidence and someone else threw his stack on there after the previous one got sold. When it comes to the Arcadian deeds, Arcadia Underground deeds paid out 7 times this week for a combined total of 13 PEG per deed, which is quite nice. Although 93 to 94 PED price they seem to be going for is way too high for me to recommend them as an investment. I tend to agree with the commenter on one of my videos from weeks ago that it seems someone or a bunch of someones might be manipulating the price of AUDs because their payouts do not seem to have gone up, yet the price shot through the roof. Anyway, that is my opinion and I might be mistaken. Whatever the case, Arcadia Moon deeds paid out 3 times this week for a combined total of 3 PEG per deed. They do seem to pay a little bit better than they used to in the past. Also, their price seems to be rising after that initial brutal drop. It is now up to 45.76 weekly and a bit over 47 PED daily markup. But of course, that info will have changed a bit depending on how long into the future you happen to be watching today's episode. To conclude, this week was fine for me. Loot was nothing special overall, but I did make a small profit thanks to that Shrapnel HoF. Deed and share payouts were nothing too special either, however, the 13 PEGs per AUD for the week were nice. It was also very nice to see Ancient Greece shares pay their 1 PEG today. I am not sure how much time to play actively I will have in the new week, but I will at least try to do some hunting or a little bit of mining and perhaps explore next island a bit more. Or maybe I will bugger off to Arcadia for some proper mining if I end up having more time to play later in the week. I simply do not know just yet, but I do know that in next week's episode I will share my thoughts on one of those 3 daily missions here on the next island that give a certain TT value of oil as reward. Either way, I hope your loot was alright recently and that you are having fun playing Entropia Universe or any other game you might be playing at the moment. Thank you for watching and I wish you a pleasant remainder of the day. please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. Thank you.